Okay, it's now live on Facebook.
Yeah, meeting is being live streamed. I saw the message.
Yeah. Okay. Just give me 1 minute.
I am a little sleepy today.
Yeah, the live streaming has started.
Okay.
I would like to share also. Okay. Okay, we can start.
Okay. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So we are happy again to be hosting His Grace Prem Rasadas Prabhu from Mumbai, who has been very gracious to be enlightening us with knowledge of the Lord's pastimes, of this a spiritual path that he has been practicing for more than a decade, and guiding us in that respect. So Prabhuji has got like a very illustrious record of serving the movement of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness in several capacities, primarily as a teacher, who has been giving classes to numerous people and guiding devotees, and basically helping people progress in on spiritual life. And he has also got the unique distinction of being one of the very avid book distributors, particularly Srimad Bhagavatam sets, which are really a hard nut to crack. But he has consistently, he and his team have been um, like ending up as being the top three world among the top three world book distributors of Srimad Bhagavatam over the last 3 years. So Prabhuji has been serving Srila Prabhupada really well, and he's always regularly engaging in reading Srila Prabhupada's books and the Vaishnavacharya's books. And today he's going to continue on his discourse discussion on understanding the pastimes of the Lord. This is going to be the second session, and we will give it over to His Grace Premnathas Prabhuji to take us into the journey. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Haridra Prabhu, so much. Om Gyantiminandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Kaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we can just go through a brief recap of the last class, part 1, and this is a part 2 continuation of the last class. So basically, we started with discussing about the verses from the Bhagavad Gita, which talks about knowing the tattva of Krishna's pastimes, understanding the philosophical siddhant behind the pastimes of Krishna. So we can actually deeply appreciate why Krishna is performing certain pastimes which are beyond our comprehension. These are controversial pastimes because they are beyond our reasoning, beyond our logic. Anything connected to the material world requires logic, explanation, and reasoning. But we have to understand one thing, that when it comes to the activities of God, then these are all beyond the material conditionings. That's why we require some kind of transcendental knowledge in order to understand them. So the acharyas of the particular sampradaya, they are revealing a lot of Tattva Gyan, a lot of philosophical Siddhant, in order to deeply appreciate and understand Krishna's pastimes. So we have seen some verses from the Bhagavad Gita, which where Krishna is clearly saying that you can understand me in full, in reality, only through devotional service, and you can see my form also through devotional service. And you, in order to, if you want to come back to me, then you have to understand the tattva of my appearance, disappearance, and my leelas when I'm in the material world. So we discussed about two classic examples, which is the Mosa Leela, the disappearance of the Lord and his associates from this world. Basically, the ending pastimes of the Lord in this world, and Radha Ras Leela also, which is definitely a very controversial subject matter. So we have gone through those examples, and then we also spoke about the when we talk about a personality, then we are talking about his energy. Without energy, there is no question of worshipping a person. I mean, he's no longer a person, basically, because energy is identified with energetic is identified with his energies. If you remove the energy, then everything becomes void or impersonal. So we discussed about the different types of potencies of the Lord, or the energies of the Lord, and then we also discussed about the three types of energies, the main energies of the Lord, which is the Antaranga Shakti, the internal energy, the marginal potency, which is the Tatastha Shakti, and the material external potency, which is also called as the Bahiranga Shakti. And then we also discussed about the three corresponding Shaktis, Sandhini, Samvit, Ladini, which are connected to the Satchit Ananda Swarup of the Lord. And then we also discussed the tattva of his associates, the three types of demigods or devotees in the heavenly planets. So one type of demigod who would like to attain Krishna is who follows in the footsteps of his associates, who is Anugat to his associates, basically. And then the other type is someone who is not willing to be Anugat. And the third type is they are just the expansions of the associates of the Lord. And for the timing, they are basically they are the part and parcel of the associates. So they are called the Amshis, and they are expanding in this heavenly planet for some time. And once their role is over, then they merge back to their original Amshas. So like that. So this is what we discussed. Now in this class, we are going to discuss about the Dham Tattva, because see, Krishna is not different from the holy name, from Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela. Everything is not different from Krishna. At the same time, the Dham is also the expansion of the Lord. It is not different from the Lord. And it is mentioned that basically the Dham is the manifestation of the Sandhini Shakti of the Lord. So Sandhini Shakti is the Shakti of existence, by which everything existing in the material world as well as spiritual world, that is actually controlled by the Sandhini Shakti of the Lord. And then we have the Samvit potency, which is basically the knowledge-giving potency. And that knowledge is required in order to understand that we are all part and parcel of the Lord, and what is our relationship with the Lord, and how to serve in that relationship. And then in the spiritual world, it is manifested in the form of more finer details, like what is our identity, our real swarup with the Lord, and how do we serve the Lord. And then what are the what knowledge is required in order to understand Krishna's pastimes and all that. So these are all manifesting in the spiritual world, and everything is reflected in the material world. This material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So in that sense, the Samvit Shakti is perverted in this material world in the form of sense gratification, knowledge in order to understand about the material world, to exploit the material world, and to enjoy the material world. That is actually reflected perversion of Samvit potency in this material world. So similarly, the Ladini is basically the bliss form of the bliss that we experience in the material world. Again, it's a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. In spiritual world, the original Ladini Shakti is actually existing in its original form, which is completely pure, free from ego, and it is selfless. So selfless love exists in the spiritual world, and selfish love exists in the material world. So all these things we have discussed. Now, Dham is basically intimately connected with the Lord, because it is mentioned in the Shastras that Vrindavan parityaja padam ekam na gacchati. Krishna never leaves one step out of Vrindavan, and Vrindavan is a manifestation of Krishna's Swarup. It is the internal potency of the Lord. Basically, obviously, it is the expansion of Lord Balram, and Balram is very eager to serve the Lord in different rasas, in different capacities. So in Shantaras, Balram is also expanding himself into the Dham, and that Dham is actually serving Krishna. So Balram is the one who is actually enjoying, all the 5 rasas in one sense, because he is expanding himself into everything that Krishna would like to enjoy. And Balram, being an elder brother, he is experiencing Vatsala Ras with Krishna along with Sakyabhav. And he's also exchanging Madhurya Ras with Krishna in the form of Ananga Manjari. So Ananga Manjari is the younger sister of Srimati Radharani, and she is assisting Srimati Radharani. So that way, Balramji is also experiencing all the 5 rasas in the spiritual world. Now, basically, the Dham is something which is all pervasive. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of all pervasive? Just like Krishna is all pervasive, Krishna is in the spiritual world, but at the same time is also in the material world. And Krishna is also, so personally, he is actually in the spiritual world and in the material world. He is eternally present in the spiritual world, but in the material world, as we know that there are millions of universes, and Krishna is always performing his pastimes for eternity in the material world. So when one particular Leela will get over in this universe, the same Leela will be repeated in another universe. And when it gets over in that universe, Krishna will again perform in 3rd universe, 4th, like so on and so forth, because there are infinite universes in the material world also. So that way Krishna's pastimes are also eternal in the material world. So basically, Krishna is personally present in the Dham. When Krishna is descending from the spiritual world, he wants to make sure that he is also carrying along with him his associates, Dham and everything, all the paraphernalia. So similarly, Golok is the original abode of the Lord in the spiritual world, and that Goloka is actually manifested in the earthly realm as Bhoma Vrindavan or Bhoma Vraj. Okay. This Vraj Vrindavan appears to be a part of India, but in reality, it is actually transcendental. It is not limited and restricted to space and time. It is beyond space and time. And now, in one sense, actually, just like Krishna is impersonally present in everything and everywhere, okay, at all times. So similarly, the Dham is actually also present everywhere at all times, but in an impersonal way. So in order to manifest the Dham, you have to actually perform some devotional activity, and then the Dham is actually manifested. And again, and as long as you are manifesting devotional service in that particular area, the Dham is manifested. But then again, once you stop performing devotional service, then the Dham will actually wind up. So it will disappear from our vision, and it will also take away its potency. So I mean, I will come to the description of the different types of Dham that we have. But the Dham is all pervasive, and that's why it is not limited. Now the question is that if it is all pervasive, then why I cannot feel the Dham's potency where I am currently? And the answer is simple. Just like Krishna is also present within each and every atom, but you need to identify the Lord, because the Lord is actually not subjected, is not available to the worldly vision. So similarly, the Dham is also hidden from us. But as I said that, as soon as you perform devotional service, as soon as you become purer in your bhakti, then the Dham becomes manifest in every place where you are at. But otherwise, it is always hidden. So similarly, Dham is also present everywhere, but it is basically visible in a visual form. You can perceive the Dham in Bhoma Vrindavan only. Otherwise, outside of Bhoma Vrindavan, you need to perform bhakti. That's why Srila Prabhupada also said that wherever our ISKCON temple is, that is Vaikuntha. Wherever devotees get together and they chant the holy name of Krishna, that place is Dham. So basically, Prabhupada also said one time that in fact, I think this is also mentioned in the literature of the Goswamis, that all Vaikunthas, they are actually present in one corner of Bhoma Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada also said that Seva Kunj is actually the hub of the spiritual world. Okay, and why it is the hub? Because so something which is central is extremely important. It is actually the focus of everything, and the reason Seva Kunj is actually the hub of of the spiritual world is because Seva is the central principle of residing in the abode of the Lord. And that's how Seva Kunj is actually represented as the spiritual center. It is the central hub of the spiritual world. And in one corner of Vrindavan, in fact, you can say that one dust of Vrindavan, one particle of the dust of Vrindavan contains millions of universes. So what to speak of the potency of Bhoma Vrindavan, which is perceived as an area of, or you can say the perimeter as 84 crores, which is about 1 crore is almost 3 kilometers, more than that. And so you can just imagine what will be the what is the glory of the Dham and how pervasive is the Dham. So the Dham actually includes the entire universes, billions of universes, infinite universes within itself. And that's why in another sense also you can say that the Dham is all pervasive, because all the universes are in the Dham. Okay, at the same time they are also outside it. So Krishna also describes this phenomena in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says that I am within every being at the same time, and I'm also within the material world everywhere, but at the same time I'm outside of it. So what does it mean? It basically means that that I will be hidden. As long as you do not call me, I will be hidden. But as soon as you start calling me, I will appear. So only those pure devotees who are able to attain the state of prema, they can actually see the Lord everywhere and in everything, and they can also see the Dham. They can also manifest the Dham. So this is basically the glory of the Dham. We should never underestimate the potency of the Dham. Now, let me also describe the different types of Dham first. Then I will focus on the difference and similarities. Okay, so Jeev Goswami, he quotes the Chandogya Upanishad in order to prove the existence of the Dham in the spiritual world. And so there is a reference in the Chandogya Upanishad which talks about the existence of Golok Vrindavan and how Krishna is also performing his pastime there. Now, there are 5 different types of Dham. Okay. So do you have any idea which are the 5 different types of Dham? Anyone has any clue, any idea about it? So what we hear is that, okay, we hear that Goloka is there, and then Bhoma Vrindavan, they are not different. But then there are 3 other more forms of the Dham.
Oh, so Mayapur is Navadvip is also considered as a Dham, right? Navadvip, or
okay, yeah. So see, when we talk about the Dham, Navadvip and Jagannath Puri are also included. We are not speaking about them separately.
What about Ayodhya?
So okay, I'm not categorizing the Dhams based on their mood of worship. I'm categorizing the Dham based in terms of the different types of Dham, which is basically
but Dham, Dham in the spiritual world, or like they also say Devi Dham
in terms of its manifestation.
Okay. Like Durga Devi's residence is also called Devi Dham, right?
Sorry?
Like Durga Devi's residence is called Devi Dham, and then there is Mahesh Dham, but those are in the material world. So are you talking about, are you also including them, or is it only in the spiritual world?
No. So see, I am when I am talking about the category of Dham, I am referring to the categorization of Krishna's abode only.
Oh, so you are saying like Dwarka? Are you talking about like Dwarka, Vrindavan?
No. Again, actually, see, when we talk about Goloka, or when we are talking about Bhoma Dham, then Vrindavan obviously is also there, Dwarka is there, and Mathura is there.
Achha, okay.
So that is all Bhoma. Bhoma means in the material world, manifested in the material world. Material world basically means Bhuloka. So any idea? Okay. See, basically the dham of, now this principle can also be applied to the other dhams, which is Navdeep and Jagannath Puri. But basically, we know that Goloka is there in the spiritual world. Then Bhoma Dham is there in the material world.
Yeah.
Specifically in the abode of Bharatvarsha, it is not available outside of Bharatvarsha. And then there is the Drishyaman Dham, and Dham, which is, so this is the third category of Dham, which is Drishyaman. And then the fourth category is basically the Dham which is always manifested in the heart of pure devotees. And the fifth kind of Dham is basically manifested by the devotees' desire and will, which is manifested outside of the Bhoma of Dham. Like for example, now Vrindavan, which is New Vrindavan. The Prabhupada wanted that it should be replicated like the original Braj. And similarly, we also have the Govardhan Eco Village. Yeah, so that also should be replicated. So basically outside of Bhoma of Dham, but in our world division. Okay, so now what is, so we understand all the four types of Dham. What is the Drishyaman type of Dham?
No, I've not heard about that.
Okay, so see, Drishyaman is the manifestation of Dham, the manifestation of the Dham's potency to a lesser extent, which is visible. So you'll see that when we are going to Vrindavan, Mayapur or Jagannath Puri, then there are certain remnants of the Dham's potency. The original, like for example, Krishna, when we hear about Krishna's dancing on the Kalia serpent, so we know that Krishna actually climbed upon a tree, and then from that tree actually jumped onto the Yamuna lake to defeat Kalia, right? So we know that, okay, that particular tree, because it was touched by Krishna's, it has the footprints of Krishna. That's why that tree is still alive. And we can actually see the tree also till date. So similarly, there are many other remnants of Krishna's pastimes or the Dham's remnants, which we are able to see it. They were present during Krishna's Leelas and still they are present. So we can actually, it is Drishyaman means it is in our drishti, within our drishti, which is visible to our conditioned eyes also. So these are the remnants of the Lord which are actually visible to us. So that is called Drishyaman. Now, see, one thing is there, even though Bhoma Braj is there, Bhoma Dham is there in this world, but we are not able to perceive the entire Dham. It is still hidden from us because of the effect of Kali Yuga. When Krishna was present, that time the Bhoma Braj or the Bhoma Dham was visible to everyone clearly. Okay. Even a demon, when a demon would enter the Dham, the demon could actually see the Lord's abode directly. Okay, obviously the Tattva was hidden, because Krishna can reveal the Tattva. You can actually remove the curtain only when one performs devotional service to the Lord. Otherwise, that curtain is always there. Okay, but even from an external point of view, the demons were actually able to see the Lord, and they were also able to see the Dham as it is. As Krishna was there, he was performing his pastimes. But now, obviously, everything, even the external aspect of the Dham is covered, and we are actually put into illusion, because what we are seeing is lot of industrialization in the Dham, and we are seeing the sewage, we are seeing the dirt, we are seeing so many shops, we are seeing so many technological, it is also making a lot of technological advancement. So we are seeing the external form is also covered by our technology. Okay, and like there are so many similarities between Mumbai and other cities and the Dham, right? Obviously, the more interior you will go to the Dham, the more you will get that feeling of that pure atmosphere of the Dham. Like for example, Barsana is there, interiors of Barsana. You will feel that. But if you go to Vrindavan and then if you go to Mathura, then obviously you will not be able to relate so much. But anyways, see, Dham is always Dham. There is no question of hiding its full potency. And I will go, I will definitely explain that also, how much potency is manifested in these Dhams. But basically, you should understand that whatever you are able to see with the material eyes, that is Drishyaman Dham. Okay, so these are the, now see another one particular example I would like to give is that when Krishna appeared in this world, when we went to Dwarka, and if you have heard about the Sudharma palace, right, which was actually gifted to Krishna by Indra, which was basically a it is coming from the demigod, world, basically heavenly planets. So actually what happened is when Krishna left the planet, some remnants of the Sudharma hall, they are still here visible to the naked eyes. I think they are submerged. And but the remaining, you can say that 99% probably is actually taken away by the demigods back to the heavenly planets. Okay, so only some left out remnants is actually visible in this material world for the Kali Yugas to actually take advantage of. But otherwise, whatever paraphernalia also appeared during the Lord's time in this 5,000 years ago, they all disappeared with the Lord. Where the associates, they went back to their original post and their original responsibilities, and they also took away with them whatever they had brought down here. So we will not able to see everything. Actually, we can only see certain things. So similarly, even in whether it is Vrindavan, Mathura or Dwarka, these phenomena is common, or whether it is Jagannath Puri or whether it is Navdeep Dham. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I hope it is clear now. And then obviously we have the Dham which is manifested by the which is manifested in the heart of pure devotees. It is always manifested. I mean, if some devotee is at the stage of bhav and prem, the Dham is always there in the heart. I mean, because Krishna is residing in the heart, and Krishna is also appearing in the heart. So obviously, wherever Krishna is, the Dham is also there. There is no doubt about it. So in that sense, that's why wherever a pure devotee will go, they will convert that place into a Dham, because they are transferring the energy from their heart to that place. So that place will also become Dham. That's how they are actually able to do it. Okay. And then the last category is the manifestation of the Dham outside of the Dham. So that is like over the Nico Valley, New Vrindavan, and other such places, wherever they try to replicate. Okay, so these are the different 5 types of Dhams. Now, what are the similarities and what are the differences? So see, now it is very interesting that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he is actually the abode of all the Dhams. He is himself the shelter of all the abode of the Dhams. But still, Mahaprabhu actually, he desired to visit Vrindavan. And you will see that when Mahaprabhu visited Vrindavan, there is a category of his ecstasy. There is intensifying of his ecstasy when he's, when he leaves Jagannath Puri and then he walks off and he is trying to go to Vrindavan. So his ecstasy is increased by 100 times. Then when he reaches Mathura, ecstasy increases by 1,000 times. And then when he finally reaches Vrindavan or Radhakund, the ecstasy is increased unlimited times, number of times. Right? So there is, I mean, as Rupa Goswami rightly mentioned that, superior to the material world is the spiritual world, basically Vaikuntha. Superior to Vaikuntha is the abode of Lord Krishna, Golok Vrindavan. And then obviously there is a categorization, within that Golok also, where Rupa Goswami says that Mathura is superior to Dwarka. And then Vrindavan is superior to Mathura because the Lord performed his pastimes there. And then above Vrindavan is Govardhan because the Lord lifted Govardhan with his own hand. And then above everything else, above all the abodes of the Lord, all the pastime places of the Lord, Radhakund reigns supreme amongst all of them. Right? Now, this is purely on the basis of the categorization of Ras. Basically is categorizing in terms of sweetness of the Lord. So the Lord is manifesting sweetness in a complete way, in a fully manifested way in Radhakund. And then in a slightly lower, in a less way in Govardhan. And then in Vrindavan, then in Mathura. And then in, obviously we know that there is no sweetness in Vaikuntha. So, so similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstasy also increased like that. He experienced the same emotions. which is actually given by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction. Mahaprabhu exhibited the same symptoms. His ecstasy kept on increasing unless and until he reached Radhakund. And then obviously we know that Mahaprabhu actually, he discovered Radhakund, he saw with his transcendental vision, and then he took bath in Radhakund, and then he also applied tilaks all over his body. So we'll see that so even though it is like said that wherever Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, that is the Dham, but at the same time Mahaprabhu actually desired to visit the Dham. His eagerness to visit the Dham was intensified, and the ecstasy also got intensified according to the corresponding area of the Dhams, right? So now we know, because sometimes we have this concept that okay, wherever our deities are, that is Vrindavan. Wherever the Lord is there, that is Vrindavan. Wherever the association of devotees, that is Vrindavan. That is all true, but I also would like to address the dissimilarity or the differences basically between the different types of dhams. Now, okay, so one thing is now I would like to ask you a question. Just like Golok Vrindavan, is the Bhomo Dham in the material world also eternal, or is it temporary?
It is temporary. Okay, it's temporary in the sense that when there is complete annihilation at the end of creation, then that physical location is also, that geographical location is also gone. But
okay.
But like until that time, it is going to be, it is present, right? It's not even if all that we see in that place is completely changed, or it's completely destroyed, even then that location will be there. So in that way, that's my understanding. I mean, I don't know, like Tattva-wise, I don't know, but I'm just talking based on what I think.
Okay, so basically, see, you cannot say location because there are unlimited universes. So which location are you talking about, right? So basically, one thing is there, that physically it will be within the region of India, Bharatvarsha. Okay. Krishna has his own preference of his place, and he will choose certain area in this material also. Now, it all depends on his choice and will, where he wants to select a particular place. But he has been choosing Vrindavan or Bharatvarsha in this material world, and Krishna appears there. Now he is also appearing, he's basically also present in all these universes simultaneously, because as I said that he is eternally enacting past and the material universe also. Okay, so now when we talk about the temporary the creation and annihilation of the universes, because we know that when Brahma will die, then obviously there is a total annihilation of the universe. Obviously different categories of annihilation also. There is partial, and where we know that after Brahma's one day or 12 hours, there is a partial annihilation, and then obviously not everything is destroyed in the material world, because Brahma is going to be there and the upper planetary system is going to exist. So the lower planetary systems along with the Swarg Loka, it is all destroyed, and then it is again manifested. So that is a cycle because Brahma is there. But then after Brahma's death, obviously there is a total annihilation also. So now obviously this annihilation and this creation is also eternal. So in one sense, we are saying that, okay, maybe the Bhomo Dham is actually eternal in the sense that it is there as long as there is the existence of the of the planetary system, 14 planetary systems. But when the universes are destroyed, that time there is it disappears. But actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that even after annihilation of all the universes, Krishna invisibly performs his pastimes in the material world. So this is something which is very revealing, that invisibly he will actually perform his pastimes. He will continue to perform pastimes in the material world, and this is not to be seen by any conditioned soul. So this is very interesting. So in that sense, the pastimes of Krishna are actually continuous, irrespective of the creation and annihilation of the universes. So this is amazing. Obviously, it is performed by the Achinta Shakti of the Lord. And now, we also know. So basically, in that sense, the Bomodham is eternal. Okay.
Yes.
And then, yeah.
So when we went to Vrindavan, and Radhakund, and to Barsana, that time you were telling us that at this time, 10:38 to timing to Yadnya, and then from 3:30 to, so there is Leela going on, like this Leela is going on. So that Leela, that is what you are talking about, right? That's what you are talking about, right? That even though we don't see, the Lord is still having his Leela with his eternal associates. That's what you're referring to?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a good question, because see, there is also the concept of the Prakat Leela and the Aprakat Leela of the Lord. And
Okay.
When we speak about that, the Lord is still performing pastimes in this Bhoma Braj, and which is invisible to our eyes. So we are basically talking about the Aprakat Leela. And Prakat Leela happens when Krishna is personally present and we are able to witness his pastimes. So basically, the Aprakat Leela, we can say that in the spiritual world, definitely it is happening. That is eternal. But Vishwanath Thakur is saying that even the material world, actually, Krishna, after the annihilation, also is performing his pastimes. Now, when we talk about the pastimes of Krishna in the material world, we are talking specifically about the Prakat Leela of the Lord. When we discussing about the pastimes that Krishna is actually performing in multiple universes. So in this universe, Krishna has disappeared, but in other universe, Krishna is still present. He's also enacting his pastimes, right? But
yeah.
what about when all the universes are destroyed? Then where is Krishna and his abode gone? So this is what Srila Vishwanath Thakur says. And I've also heard that, I think some other place, that the Bhoma Vraj, Bhoma Dham, actually, when everything is annihilated, it again merges back into the Golok Dham. So because this is all the expansion of Golok Dham,
okay.
so it will merge back into that Dham. Okay. So in that sense, it is invisible to the material eyes. Okay. But Vishwanath Thakur is giving some amazing revelation that Krishna is performing his pastimes invisibly.
Okay.
So I hope this is clear. So see, this is what we have to understand. We need to understand, because one thing we also, after discussing this, we will come to realize that Krishna's pastimes are impossible to understand. They are inconceivable. Okay,
Yeah,
because there are multiple things going on simultaneously. I mean, the entire pastime of Prakat, Aprakat, and then Krishna, basically the gopis are in separation from Krishna, and then at the same time they are not in separation, because Krishna is also visible to them. Krishna appears before them because of their intensity of the separation from the Lord. So Krishna is actually present before them. He is enacting the pastimes also. So what is separation? What is union? What is separation? Krishna is always.
This question even I had.
At the same time, there is also separation, eternal separation, eternal union. Now, obviously, in order to experience the bliss of union, you must have separation. So unless and until there is separation, you cannot relish, you cannot experience that level of bliss. And in order to have separation, you must have union. And in order to have union, you must have separation. So these two complement each other. I mean, this is a worldly phenomena also. You can understand that, when you are separated from someone you love so much, then you actually, the intensity will come out. And when you are together, then there is a feeling of taking things for granted. Right? Familiarity breeds contempt, like that. So, now see what happened. I will give another example. If you remember, I have also explained this in our, I think, Janmashtami or Radhashtami class, maybe Janmashtami class. So there I have, described that what happens when Uddhava is visiting Vrindavan. So what he's seeing, at the end, right at the entrance, when he's entering Dham, he's seeing that the Vrajvasis are so happy. It seems that they're never separated from Krishna. Okay. So then, so basically, who is Uddhav seeing? And when he is reaching the house of Nand Maharaj and Yashoda Maiya, that time they are lamenting. They are greatly lamenting. So what is happening here? It's a contradiction. So actually, then Vishwanath Thakur explained that Yogamaya is creating these forms. There's replicates of these forms. And these forms are basically the forms which are in union with Krishna. And when Uddhava is meeting Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Maiya, these are the forms which are experiencing separation from Krishna. So Uddhava is also kind of bewildered what is happening here. Okay. So it's a very mystical dham. It is completely mystical, it is completely transcendental, beyond our conceptions. Okay. And so something which is beyond space and time, it cannot be deliberated upon so easily. Okay. You need some transcendental eyes of the acharyas in order to understand them. So basically, so now again, what happens is, when Uddhava is also meeting the gopis, so the gopis are lamenting, and when he leaves, he's about to leave Vraj, he's seeing again the form of the gopis which are in union with Krishna. So all these things are mystical, these are transcendental aspects of Krishna's leelas. And so you'll be bewildered to understand that what exactly is happening in these pastimes. And similarly, when Krishna is also going to Dwarka, then we also hear in the pastimes of the Goswamis that all the gopis, they disappear, they commit suicide and they die. And then somehow mystically they reappear in the form of the queens of Dwarka, in Dwarka. So these are all mystical things. But in order to understand these things, that's why we have the class, how do we understand these things? So we require some kind of basic information and some basic principles of Krishna's pastime. That is what we are discussing here. So anyways, coming back to the principle of Bhomo Dham. So Bhomo Dham is also eternal, actually. And it is rightly said that Goloka, there is no difference at all between Goloka and Bhomo Dham. Okay, both are eternal, both have their pastimes eternally going on. But there are some differences also. Now, differences I will also touch upon later, but let me cover, what happens in the Dham itself. We know that the Dham expands and contracts according to its own will, because it's not different from Krishna. So all the potency of Krishna is also present in the Dham, and the Dham will actually expand and it will also contract depending on the need of the pastime of the Lord. So like, for example, it is mentioned that when Radharani and the gopis, they are going from Yavat to Nand Bhavan in order to cook for Krishna in the morning. So that time, obviously, you will see that it's not very close. It's not that, okay, you throw a stone and you will be there. It's a bit far away. Like for maybe around less than half an hour, I think, drive. Right. So you can just imagine how much it will take to walk for the Vrajvasis from one place to another place. And what to speak of walking all the way from Yavat or Barsana to Govardhan, or to much more further, can say Vrindavan, where Krishna is also having the Ras Leela pastimes. Okay. So what happens, the Dham is actually, because it is all pervasive and it is also mystical in nature. So that's why the Dham is compared to a lotus flower, where you have the lotus will bloom, it will expand, and it will also contract in the night. So similarly, when these pastimes are happening, the lotus flower will actually contract, so that the Vrajvasis can easily reach one place to another place within few minutes. And at the same time, when everyone is resting, the Dham will expand itself. Now, another phenomena that we also observe, according to our conditioning in Bhomo Vrindavan, we'll see that it is called as a Choryashi Kos Parikrama.
Yeah.
Okay, but then what is this Choryashi Kos? Is that the circumference? Is that the diameter, or is that the area? Because if you consider the 84 crores as diameter, if you consider the 84 crores as the circumference and 84 crores as the area of Vraj, let's imagine to be a circular area because we are comparing the Dham to the lotus flower, right? So basically, let's try to imagine that it's a circular area. So you'll get 3 different areas, right? So with the circumference being 84 kosa, with the area being 84 kosa, area being 84 kosa means the area is 84. That's one area. Second area, you will find out the radius and then you will find out the area of the circle. Okay, because you know the circumference, you will find out the radius, right? And then you will also multiply by pi and then r square, right? So or pi d square by 4. So that you will get the area of the circle. That is second by the circumference. And then if you say that the diameter is 84 crores, so that diameter, when you calculate through that diameter, the area will be different. So you'll get 3 different areas. Okay, now which one is the correct one? So basically, according to our material vision, what we observe is that the 84 crores parikrama is actually the circumference of
circumference.
To the circumference of Vraj. That 84 crores parikrama, that's why it is said like that. And so we get a different area. Okay, and but all the 3 can be accepted. Why? Because the Dham is not limited to the material conditionings. It is not limited to time and space. And that's why we say that the Dham actually expands and contracts. So you'll get all these 3 areas. And that's how you reconcile.
Yeah.
Right? So it's an amazing mystery of the Dham. Obviously, this is not visible to us. It's all happening on a transcendental platform, but these are all the possibilities. So basically, even though it is part of the material world and being under the influence of Kali Yuga, still the Dham can actually manifest its potency. Okay. Now, regards to the potency of Goloka and Bhomo Dham. So basically, see, the Bhomo Dham is a special category of Dham because it is completely not different from Goloka, the spiritual world of the abode of the Lord, basically, right? And so having said that, it means that the Dham is always going to manifest its potency irrespective of whatever you are, whatever you do in the Dham. Okay.
Yeah.
So there is absolutely no difference between Goloka and Bhomo Dham in the terms of its potency. So now what is the difference in the potencies of other Dhams, which is manifested by devotee and which is appearing in the heart of devotee? So the difference is the potency of that particular place where the Dham is manifested outside the Dham. It can get over with time if the devotional service is contaminated by different factors. That potency will be covered up with time, and eventually it can be lost also. So, for example, if we have multiple temples, ISKCON temples in different areas of the world, so locally it is all a Dham. But as long as devotees are practicing pure devotional service, to that extent, the Dham is going to manifest itself. The potency of the Dham will be manifesting itself. As soon as you stop performing pure devotional service, the Dham potency or the temple potency will reduce with time. Whereas this does not happen in Bhomo Dham as well as in Goloka. I mean, obviously, Goloka, there is no question of talking about reduction in potency and all, because they are all pure devotees, like the perfected beings. But in Bhomo Dham, this is a principle that the potency never ever is lost. Whereas wherever, so similarly, a pure devotee, if a pure devotee somehow falls down, or somehow reduces the intensity of his bhajan, then the potency of or the Dham appearing in the heart will also reduce. So basically, the Dham is manifested equivalent to the potency and the performance of bhakti in that particular area. Okay, and it is lost again. If you want to revive it, then you have to again perform devotional service, pure devotional service to the Lord. So this is a major difference between the Dhams which are manifested outside of Dham. And obviously, these are all expansions of our Bhomo Dham. Whatever we are manifesting outside of Dham, there are expansion of Bhoma Dham ultimately. Okay. So I mean, like, just like Krishna is expanding himself from Goloka to Ayodhya, and then from Ayodhya to Vaikuntha, from Vaikuntha to the Swarg, heavenly planets, and then from heavenly planets to earthly planet. So similarly, the Dham is also doing the same thing, right? So and then obviously now the question is that, okay, what about the deity form of the Lord? So see, as long as the deity is present to that extent, and obviously the purity of the worshipper is also taken into account. It is the unless the worshipper is pure enough, the potency of the deities will also be hidden to that extent. So although the deity is there, but obviously one requires to have some kind of devotional practice, performance of bhakti, so that one can invoke the presence of the Lord in the deity, and also manifest that potency. Okay. Whereas in the Dham, irrespective of any, even if you don't perform anything, if there is nothing in the Dham still has its potency. That's why the Dham is actually unique. It is completely transcendental. So this is actually the glory of Bhoma Dham. Okay. Okay, now obviously we know that in Bhoma Dham, whether in Bhoma Dham or in Braj also, in Golok also, we have the different divisions of the Dham, which is basically the inner chambers of the Dham is Vrindavan or Braj, and then the outer is Mathura, and then it is Dwarka finally. So similarly here also we'll see that there is Mathura, Vrindavan, and there is Dwarka. Now Dwarka is geographically separated, but at the same time it is actually interconnected. Yeah, so I already explained to you that Krishna lives eternally in his dhams. One of the major difference between, now there are, you can say there are certain advantages of Bhoma Vraj or Bhoma Dham compared to Goloka. And there are certain things that are not manifested in Goloka, which are actually manifested in Bhoma Vraj. So any clue, any idea what are these factors? What are the differences between Goloka Vrindavan and Bhoma Vrindavan?
There is fighting with the demons.
Okay, yeah, there is fighting with the demons in our Bhoma Vrindavan. Anything else?
Parakiya and Swakiya.
Okay, that is Parakiya and Swakiya. Yeah, I mean, this is something which is very deep to understand. It's not so easy to understand. I mean, so where do you think Parakiya and Swakiya they are manifested?
Where they are manifested, as
Yeah.
Bandhani was saying, yes, as Swati Mataji was saying, that is manifested in Bhoma Vrindavan, right?
So
No.
what I understood is Swati Mataji is saying that Parakiya and Swakiya. And so I think you need to complete what you're saying, because we would like to understand where is Parakiya and Swakiya manifested, in Goloka or in Bhoma?
Parakiya is manifested in Bhoma Vrindavan.
In where?
Bhoma Vrindavan. Okay.
Okay, and Swakiya is manifested in Goloka. That's what you're saying?
Yes, Prince.
Okay, and what is the source of your information?
I'm not quite sure, Prince.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Okay. So now, okay. Another question is that, are the demons not present in Goloka? Okay. So this is one question. Second question is that, is separation experienced in Goloka? And the third question is about the Swakya and Parkiya. So these three things we'll address now.
Hmm.
So are there no demons in Goloka?
in the
Okay.
spiritual world, not in Bhoma.
Okay. So
Okay.
you both are saying that there are no demons in the spiritual world.
Actually, I am not sure. Swati Mataji said that. I am not sure about that. The demon part, I don't know. In fact, I don't know about the Swakya Parakya part also.
Okay. And what about the separation part? Do you think that there is
That is a
separation
higher
of-
subject matter. That this one only I don't know. So, what will I know about the separation?
Okay.
Yeah, seriously.
Anyways,
Yeah. Right.
so see, basically, there are demons in the spiritual world. There is separation in the spiritual world, and there is Swakya and Parakya both in the spiritual world. Whereas in Bhoma Vrindavan, there is the Swakya expansions of the original associates, which means the Vrajvasis, or you can say the gopis, basically, because when we talk about Swakya and Parkya, obviously it is conjugal rasa. So the Swakya associates, they actually, when they come to the Bhoma Vraj, then actually they merge in the body of the Parikya associates and they will come down. So that's why, as like Swati Mataji said that she has heard somewhere that in Bhoma Vrindavan there is the presence of Parikya Bhav, whereas in the Goloka we have both. See, now if you say that Swakya is present in Goloka, then you are actually trying to refute Vishwanath Thakur, who says that Parikya Ras is eternal. Okay, and regarding Swakya, it is actually Jiva Goswami who said that, and he actually claimed that because of certain reasons. So Jiva Goswami somehow he established the fact that ultimately the Parikya relationship also resolves into Swakya relationship. But Vishwanath Thakur disagrees, and he says that Parikya Ras actually also exists simultaneously in the spiritual world. And that's why in the spiritual world, Goloka, we have both divisions. We have the Swakya and Parikya Ras both. So basically, our acharyas in our line, they say that the highest manifestation of ecstasy or bhav is manifested in being separated from the Lord in Parikya Ras. Okay. Because Parikya has a lot of complex emotions and there are a lot of dynamics to it. So definitely it will yield intense emotions compared to Swakya Bhav, because Swakya Bhav is basically you have got married to Krishna, so that is very familiar. But there is no fun, there is no masala in that. But when you have Parikya Ras, then obviously you are married to someone else, and then you try to hide your love, and you try to love Krishna. So there are a lot of dynamics in that relationship, and that's why Parikya Ras is considered to be the highest, topmost way of worshipping Krishna, according to our Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. And Vishwanath Thakur, he has basically kind of proved it that Parikya Ras also exist in the spiritual world. Okay. So, anyways, this is something that we don't need to understand right away because it's a complex subject matter, and it is not required also. But one thing we can definitely understand and we can reconcile about the demons being present in Goloka. And at the same time, now coming to the second part, yes, Krishna also experiences separation in Goloka. But now the question is that, okay, Prabhupada said that there are no demons in Goloka. Prabhupada also said there is no separation in Goloka. Because in the material world, we know that Krishna is now, see, in Bhoma Vraj, in Vrindavan, some reasons why he is appearing is that he wants to protect the devotees and he wants to destroy the demons, right? And in order to destroy the demons, that's actually one of the reasons why Krishna is leaving Vrindavan. Actually, the internal reason is something else, which I think we have discussed in our Radhashtami class. why Krishna actually separated from Radharani and all the Vrajvasis. That's an internal reason. But the external reason is that Krishna is establishing dharma. He wants to destroy all the demons. So that's why he's leaving Vrindavan and then he's going to Mathura and then he's going to Dwarka. Okay. Now, another thing to understand is that Krishna is eternally present in all the three abodes simultaneously. So basically, see, this is a very interesting phenomenon, because when Krishna is leaving Vrindavan, he is becoming aprakat to the conditioned souls. Although the Vrajvasis, they can see Krishna. For them, Krishna is prakat always, because of their pure love, because they are associated of the Lord. So Krishna is manifested in prakat form in Vrindavan, but becomes aprakat to the conditioned souls, and then becomes prakat to the conditioned souls in Mathura. And when he leaves Mathura, goes to Dwarka, he becomes aprakat in Mathura and then becomes prakat in Dwarka. And when Krishna altogether disappears from this world, or whenever he visits Vrindavan from Dwarka and from Mathura, that time again the same phenomena will happen. As you know that, okay, Krishna will, at the Akrura Ghat, Krishna is going to expand himself in the Vasudev form, and that form will actually go with Akrura to Mathura and then further to Dwarka. So what happens when Krishna is returning back? The aprakat form will become prakat, and the prakat form which is appearing from Mathura and Dwarka will merge inside the body of Sham Sundar, form of Krishna in Vrindavan. So basically, again Krishna becomes manifested, or he appears in the prakat form. Prakat form is basically, this designation or discrimination is only for the conditioned souls. For the pure devotees or the associates, Krishna is always prakat. Temporarily, they may experience separation in order to intensify their love. But because of that intense separation, again, they are able to see Krishna in their heart. So again, Krishna manifests himself. Okay, so they can see Krishna. So this is a phenomena which happens when Krishna is living from one place to another place. Okay. So basically, when we say that there is no separation in the spiritual world because Krishna is eternally present there, so what happens? Why are we saying like this? Why are the acharyas saying like this? What is the reason? Yeah. So how do we reconcile these facts? So now let's go to point number 1: demons, existence of demons in Goloka. So basically, the acharyas say that whenever Krishna wants to have fun, he will invoke the demons, and at that particular moment, Yogamaya will actually create some demoniac forms, so that Krishna can actually experience that kind of fighting spirit with them, and for temporary time he will have a fight with them. He may also kill them, and then the forms will be disappearing. Now, in certain cases, some of the demons, they will also participate and they will perform some service in Goloka. Like for example, Kesi demon, the horse demon. So he becomes a horse riding animal, and Krishna loves it. So he loves going from one place to another place and having horse riding on the back of Kesi. So he loves that. And similarly, if he wants to have water sports, then he will invoke Kalia. And then Kalia will take him from one place to another place to experience the water sporting pastimes. Okay. But then Kansa is also present. Kansa is also present in Mathura. And then Krishna goes to kill Kans, and then he comes back. And this pastime, they actually repeatedly appear again and again. So now the question is that how do the demons appear? And how can they appear? Because there is no conditioned soul in Goloka. So as I said earlier, that Yogamaya is the one who's actually creating all this fun. So Yogamaya will temporarily create demons like Kans or Kesi or Kalia. And then what happens? Now, see, it is very interesting. So how do we say that there is no separation in Vrindavan? Or how do we say that there are no demons in Goloka? It is said because these pastimes are momentary. These are very short period pastimes. So and these demons are actually disappearing. It is all arrangement of Yoga Maya. So technically speaking, what happens is Krishna will perform certain pastime, and then he will make the Vrajvasis forget the pastime. So the Vrajvasis will never understand that a demon appeared and Krishna killed that demon, and now or he's using the demon in order to serve him. So they will never understand that, and that's why for them it is always a fresh pastime. So even though it appears that Krishna is going to, and when Krishna goes to kill Kans, he is returning back in 1 or 2 days. He does not separate for a longer period. Just in case of Bhoma Vraj, where Krishna is actually separated for another 10 years in Mathura, okay, or in Dwarka for the rest of the life. But in Vrindavan, what happens is Krishna will go to Mathura, he will kill Kansa, and then he will again return back to Vrindavan, and he will make the Vrajvasis forget that he had gone and all these things happened. So the Vrajvasis will think that Krishna is always with us. In that sense, the memory and the experience will be such that they will feel that they are always with Krishna and Krishna never left. Okay, and even if there is some period of separation that is very small compared to the one which is there in Bhoma Vrindavan, where there are many years that Krishna is separated, but here it is like just 1 or 2 days, or few days, or maybe a few hours. Krishna will come back soon. Okay, and at the same time, he will also make them forget. So there are demons and there are no demons, right? We can reconcile very easily now. There are demons, there are no demons. A demon is the one who is basically conditioned, who is lusty, who is willing to harm Krishna. Whereas in the spiritual world, the demon created by Yoga Maya, just temporary fun, nothing else. Okay, so we'll say that they are okay, there are demons, but they are not demons. Krishna is separated, but he is not separated. Why? The experience is not there of separation. Okay, so these things are happening in the spiritual world, and that's why we say that whatever the acharyas say, what Prabhupada says is right. What Sanatana Goswami says is right. What Rupa Goswami says is right. Everyone is right. We just need to reconcile all these things. Otherwise, what will happen? We may say that, okay, one acharya is wrong, one acharya is right. And that way we can also commit offenses. Now, another thing that Prabhupada said, in fact, I also would like to add to this, that it is very interesting. Even in the Bhoma pastime, Kaliya becomes a devotee of the Lord. We know that because Krishna chastises Kaliya, and then Kaliya, because of his wife influence, he's going to become a devotee, right? So then Kaliya, what Kaliya does is he prays to Krishna that whenever you want to go to Mathura, then just call me, and I will come and I will take you to Mathura. So basically, what happens is Krishna, instead of going to Mathura by some chariot, he actually goes by help of Kaliya. So as a boat ride, he will go from Vrindavan to Mathura and then again come back. So this is the service which is actually offered by Kaliya to Krishna. Now, this can happen in a different kalpa. That's a different thing, because in the Bhagavatam it is mentioned that Krishna advised Kaliya to leave Vrindavan immediately, and he asked Kaliya to actually go and reside in Fiji, right? So I forgot the name of the island. So anyways, but it is according to our material standard, I think it is in Fiji, located in Fiji. This is what I think Prabhupada said. And so anyways, but there is one particular island where Kaliya, Krishna advised him to go there. So basically, he was a resident of that island, but because of Garuda's fear, actually, ultimately, Kaliya took shelter of Yamuna. Okay, so this is a Bhoma Vrindavan pastime itself. I'm not even speaking about Golok Vrindavan, but this is what is actually happening in Goloka. And then as I was coming back to Srila Prabhupada's point, that Prabhupada one time he has written to one of his disciples in a letter that the disciple asked Prabhupada whether Jagannath Puri is actually in the spiritual world. Prabhupada said no, Puri Dham is not there in the spiritual world. But Sanatan Goswami is actually talking, he's describing Puri Dham in actually, in the spiritual world, where he says that between Mathura and Dwarka, Puri Dham is located. And how he has located this place between Mathura and Dwarka is because there is some reason, because you know that Jagannath Puri form is basically Dwarka form of the Lord with Aishwarya form, but he is hankering to go to Vrindavan. So that way he is actually between Mathura and Dwarka. It makes sense, right? He's looking forward to go to Vrindavan. So he is between Mathura and Dwarka. So Jagannath Puri Dham is between Mathura and Dwarka in Goloka. But Srila Prabhupada says there is no Puri Dham. Now, what we do understand is, and another letter, some disciple is asking Prabhupada, that is the form of Jagannath present in the spiritual world? And Prabhupada said, yes, it is present. So how do we reconcile? So according to my understanding, basically we can reconcile this by saying that the deity form of Jagannath is there, the temple is there, but the dham as such is not there in the spiritual world. So that way that Puri Dham is there, or because basically Puri Dham is, or the abode of Lord Jagannath is worshipped by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers and his associates, right? So we have Navadvip Dham in the spiritual world, we have Vrindavan Dham in the spiritual, Mathura and Dwarka also. And so the Jagannath form is there, and there are certain pastimes related to that form. But Dham as such does not exist, because basically Jagannath form is actually the form of the Lord in the form of deity. Right? So we can say that, okay, but whereas on the other hand, we know that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is personally residing human form, Krishna human form, right? So they have their dhams because they are activities associates of the Lord. But in Puri, we have the Jagannath Murti of the Lord, the deity form of the Lord, like that. So this way we can reconcile certain things. Certain concepts are actually very important to understand, and this can actually give us some idea about the nature of the spiritual world, about the nature of Krishna's pastimes also. Now, if you remember, we had also discussed one letter that Prabhupada wrote to disciple, where the disciple asking Prabhupada that, asking about the existence of Arjuna and Kunti. And Prabhupada says that Arjuna and Kunti, they exist only in the material world. They are not in the spiritual world. Prabhupada said like that. But in the Bhagavatam, we'll see that Prabhupada has himself translated the verse where it says that the Pandavas actually, they went back to Godhead in the self-same body. So how do we reconcile these things, right? And in one letter, Prabhupada wrote to one disciple asking about Arjuna, whether he's present in all the universes. And Prabhupada said that, and he was asking whether these Arjunas are different or they are one. And Prabhupada said that, yeah, there is only one Arjuna, and the soul, and that Arjuna expands himself in all the universes, just as Krishna is expanding himself. So because a devotee of the Lord, as we discussed earlier, that because of the unlimited potency of the Lord can bestow the potency to the devotee, and the devotees can also expand in order to facilitate the service of Lord. So see, these are all inconceivable pastimes of the Lord, which can be revealed to us, or it can be digestible to us at a particular time, because at some point of time we'll be able to reconcile these things. Certain things may not be reconciled immediately, but later maybe it is possible to reconcile these things. And then I would like to give a typical example of these things, like for example, the appearance of Govardhan and the appearance of Radhakund, because we know that appearance of Govardhan, basically, there is a pastime of Pulatsya Muni and Govardhan, how actually Pulatsya Muni in a previous yuga, I think in Satyuga. So Govardhan is existing right before, right in Satyuga. But at the same time, we are saying that Govardhan is actually the eternal mountain in Vrindavan, right? So how do we say that it is appeared? It appeared basically. And so similarly, we also say about Radhakund. We say that Radhakund, Shamkund, they are eternally present in Goloka. They are also eternally present in Bhomoma, Vrindavan. Then how do we reconcile the appearance of Radhakund and Shamkund? Because apparently it seems that they are manifesting at a certain point of time in Krishna's pastimes. Okay, I think we are beyond time. If you wish, I can continue. There are certain other things also which I would like to cover. I have not completely finished similarities and differences. But yeah, so these are, so basically what is the difference in the Bhomok Dham and Goloka Dham? Bhomok Dham is the place where there are demons in their true form, and Krishna is bestowing mercy to them. So basically Krishna appears to bestow mercy, and Krishna also protects the devotees. And another major difference is that Krishna is enacting his different duration, different pastimes in his physical form. So we have the Komar Leela, Paugand Leela, and then we have the Kaishor Leela also. Paugand Leela, Komar Leela, and Kaishor Leela, right? Which are divided into 3 ages, three duration of ages: 0 to 5, 5 to 10, and then 10 to 15, like that. So they are kind of divided, and there is a apparently seeming growth of Krishna's body from Poganda to Kaishor, whereas in the material, in the spiritual world, Krishna is eternally present in his youthful form, Kaishor form. Okay, but now Acharyas also say that whenever the devotees want, especially those who have Vatsala Bhav, Krishna at that time he will manifest himself in the form of Balya Swarup, and he will show to Yashoda Maya or Devki Maya. Okay, and then that form is kind of temporary, and then again he will resume his Kaishor form. So these things are also happening in Goloka, but there's a major difference that Krishna apparently grows in Bhoma Vrindavan, and then he kills demons, and he also has the Leela of separation, and he also protects devotees and all that, which is differently manifested in the Goloka Dham. Okay, so should we stop, or should I continue? I think we should stop because there are certain other things also which we probably have to cover. So maybe we can do it in the next class. So are you there, Aritra Prabhu and Swati Mataji?
Yeah, I'm there. And for some time I couldn't turn off mute.
Okay, so should we stop now?
Is that so? From the topic perspective, did you have anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think another 15-20 minutes probably, or maybe half an hour max to max.
Okay. Yeah, it's already 1:15 p.m.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think we should continue next time. And
okay.
If you have any questions or comments about whatever we discussed till now, then you can share it. Not able to hear you. Are you saying something?
No, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying.
Okay. Swati Madhuri, you have any question or comment?
You were mentioning about yeah, you were mentioning about this the after Brahma's is it after the total annihilation that the Dham you were mentioning about the Dham, how it is eternal, right?
Yeah,
and
so
it
is when we know that Mahavishnu excels and inhales, so all these universes are coming out and they are also going inside his body. Yeah, but so it is very inconceivable. It's a Chinta Shakti of the Lord that somehow Krishna does continue to manifest his pastimes in the universe even after the annihilation of the universe.
Is it after the total annihilation, like after the death of Brahma? Is it like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's complete annihilation basically.
Complete
After that,
annihilation.
yeah, as far as I think, what I have read, I remember that he speaks about the total annihilation, how Krishna is actually invisibly performing pastimes.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, all right. So we can stop here now and we continue later. So thank you all the devotees. Hare Krishna.